So the purpose of this video is to address virtue signaling. And the argument here is that virtue signaling is actually destroying real virtue. Okay. So the first thing, it's important to identify what exactly is virtue signaling. Okay. So according to the Cambridge Dictionary, virtue signaling is an attempt to show other people that you are a good person, for example, by expressing opinions that will be acceptable to them, especially on social media. Okay, so that in a nutshell is virtue signaling. And largely, I mean, virtue signaling has probably been around forever, but it's certainly gotten much more commonplace with social media. And what are the reasons why people want to virtue signal? Well, obviously, attention, wanting to be liked by other people. So, and wanting to be on the right side of history, wanting to be on the side of justice, wanting to feel good. Okay. And so basically, it allows someone to obtain the merit of looking accomplished or virtuous or holy or wonderful, even if there is little or no virtue involved, or even in some cases, in fact, many cases, negative virtue. How is virtue signaling destroying real virtue? It's destroying real virtue in many ways. For example, there's a book called Deep Work by Cal Newport, which talks about accomplishing things that require an intense amount of labor. Okay, so like writing a book, restoring a car, maybe like a 1950s car, restoring it from the junkyard, doing something like sculpting your body, becoming like an Arnold Schwarzenegger, something that requires an intensive amount of labor over a long period of time, becoming like a virtuoso on the violin. Those are all things that require deep work, intense focus for a long amount of time. The problem we have with virtue signaling is that you can get the same amount of dopamine reward from other people by literally doing little, if no work at all. And I'll give you one example. One anecdote from myself was in grad school, I spent 2 years of my life writing a thesis, and it was 200 pages long, and 10 pages of sources, and just an insane amount of work. And when I actually published that thesis, I think I had 2 people on my Facebook like it. And as an experiment, I decided, well, I'm just going to take a picture of a taco from Google Images. So I just went taco, and I pulled off just a random picture of a taco, and I posted it on my Facebook and said, tacos, yeah, tacos are great. Tacos taste great. And I had like 40 people like it. That literally took me about 30 seconds of labor. So I basically just went to Google Images, pulled off a picture of a taco, threw it on my wall, and I had like 40 likes within a day of a picture of a taco. So that I didn't even have to make the taco. I mean, if I would have actually had to go to the kitchen or go shopping, buy some good ingredients, know what to buy, know how to prepare it, make the beef on my grill, if it's like carne asada or whatever, and then say, hey, this is a taco that I made. I mean, it would make more sense that people would like that, because that required attention and care and planning on my part to make that taco. But no, I just took a taco off Google Images and boom, everyone likes it like this quick, right? Without even thinking, did I make that taco or not, right? And so whether it's like a graduate thesis, whether it's you restore an old car from the junkyard that's covered in rust, and you have to sand it and redo the body and redo the engine, or anything that requires a lot of labor, like a recipe, like innovating, creating something new, a new idea. Those are things that usually require what Cal Newport in his book talks about: deep work, insane amount of focus over a long period of time to create something new and original, in often cases, something unique. But what's happening is with virtue signaling, you can get the same amount of social reward for literally zero work, almost zero work. You just take a picture of a car that somebody else restored and you throw that on your social media and you get 50 people like it. You didn't have to do anything. You didn't have to bust your butt. You didn't have to do anything yourself. And so that's kind of the danger. And now we're seeing this not just in terms of, things that people do like hobbies. What we see virtue signaling is more in terms of social and political things. Now, political science, goes all the way back to ancient Greece, Thucydides, the Peloponnesian War, the Athenians and Spartans fighting each other, and diplomacy and writing letters and nation states and alliances. I mean, the science of government is complex. It's not easy to understand, but what we're seeing in social media is we're taking very complicated issues and dumbing them down into like a meme, and making it sound like the other person is bad because they don't agree with us. And it doesn't matter what end of the spectrum you're on, whether you're a liberal or conservative. It happens both ways, where you take a kind of a caricature of the other person's argument and you exaggerate it, and then you create a meme and you make it seem like that side is on the wrong side of history. They're evil, they're wicked, they're bad people because they may not agree with you politically. And so you can throw up a meme really quick and say, anyone who doesn't agree with me is a bad person, and then hashtag virtue, And so a lot of times before the facts come out on a particular subject, we don't even know all the facts. And people want to get on one side or the other of whatever's trending on social media, and they want to be virtuous and on the right side of history. So they hashtag and they'll just repost something and then try to get a bunch of likes based on really no understanding of the issue at all, no research. They don't even know what they're reposting in most cases, but they just want quick virtue that comes with no work at all. Okay. And so this is really the problem, is that in the old days before social media, people who were accomplished, who really worked their tails off to become successful, they had to really work hard to get noticed by other people. And that's where, 50 years ago, if you had nothing going on in your life, you would just kind of be socially isolated from everyone. Okay. And you would get no dopamine from people liking you because you haven't done anything worthy to be liked. You haven't put the work in. And so this is why virtue signaling is actually robbing from actual virtue. Whether it's a hobby, a skill, or whether it's something going on politically, to have real virtue, you actually have to roll up your sleeves and actually go get the work done and really understand what it is you're doing and why. And real virtue may not get noticed at all. You may get up at, early in the morning and go volunteer in the community and that's real virtue. Okay. But real virtue is not the same as virtue signaling. And you could actually make the argument that virtue signaling is robbing actual virtue out of society, because when 100 people like something you posted with no work on your part, and you get all the dopamine hits from all those likes, and you feel, oh, this is great, you're getting that rush without having done any actual work. And the negative side of virtue signaling is sometimes it can actually be harmful, because it could come out that someone is wrong, society has not really let the facts come in, so they don't really understand what's going on, and they'll want to make a villain and demonize either a cause or a person without understanding it in full. And then everyone will want to jump on the bandwagon and go attack that person or cancel them or destroy them. and because they want to feel virtuous by doing that. Okay, but that is actually negative virtue. You're actually going out and harming someone else, causing damage to someone else, because you haven't put the work in to understand what it is you're reposting on social media. And so oftentimes when someone's life is destroyed, and then the facts come in 6 months later, no one cares because they've moved on to the next thing. So someone's life might have been destroyed by virtue signaling, and then in 6 months, no one even cares. The damage has already been done, and no one's going to go back and try to repair the damage. Okay, so what I'm saying is try to be virtuous and get rid of virtue signaling. Try to focus on actual virtue. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this. Please like and share with others, and I look forward to your comments. See you in the next one.